Good morning, Cheryl. Yep, fine. Yep. Just setting stuff up. We start just now. Jeff. Going to mute, get a bit of background noise there. Don't forget, you can always ask to unmute if you want to chit chat, not a problem. How's it, Jessica? Yep, thank you. Yeah. Morning all. Just get these guys in. It's 1:30. We can get started. Just a second. Video. Hey, just have to interrupt a bit. Just let the guys in there. Okay, right. Sound a bit bleary. I've been up since the early hours watching what's happening in the US with the midterms because it has such a bearing on what happens around the world, and especially, of course, in trading. Yeah, it's a completely the polls. I'm just beginning to wonder. The polls expected a red storm or a red wave, and it's just not happened. It seems to be again even Steven, which has thrown a lot of predictions out of kilter, which is going to be trading a little bit difficult until we get some results. Just bear that in mind. I was a bit wary yesterday and a little bit wary again this morning. I looked at a few good ideas, my opinion, good ideas technically, but I'm just worried about the fundamental front. Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. You'll be doing all right then, Mike. But as I say, we've got to take that into account. We can look at the technicals, but we've got to take into account this is still a bounce this midterm. I'm not sure we're going to get a result today. That's the worry. It's going to drag on. Divided two areas. It's the Senate and the House of Representatives. Looks like they'll squeeze through in the House of Representatives, but on the Republican side, that is, but not the big red wave or majority expected. The Senate is completely 50-50, very difficult at the moment. It could go either way. Again, I was expecting a reasonable majority there, not a big one, but a reasonable one in the favor of the Republicans. This is not happening. And this caused quite a big surprise throughout. Yeah, it seems to me that America has proven even more divided than we expected. Yeah, good point there, Zeph. Yeah, make sure you modify your stop. For goodness sake, these up and down markets, modify your stop. had one the other day, yesterday, no, a couple of days ago anyway, dollar yen. I took it, modified the stop, and I didn't make much money. I made a couple of bucks, whatever, because I stopped up, but it just a little bit better than my entry level when it moved up. Then, of course, thing came flying down and hit the stop loss. So just be careful of that, guys. If it's this is not normal times we live in. The trade sometimes is just basically almost crystal ball gazing, jumping around. It comes out a great idea, then something else, some variable happens out there and changes it around. Even the analysts are coming out saying, I say the analysts, I mean large amount of $1 million well-paid guys saying go figure. And with all due respect, $2 million, like some of these anchors on the multimedia, on the mainstream media, multi-million-dollar a year salary. So yeah, it's again, the polls came back and seemed to be, well, wrong, no other word for it. So hi Ashley, yeah. So I just want to go into it a little bit again. Sorry guys, I forgot. If you want to me to unmute and you want to have your say, please say so. I've muted for a bit of background noise. Of course, use the live chat. Primarily, as we know, this is a trading room. It's not a teaching, as in training class, like the Zoom class on Forex CFD. It's a forum trading room. So if anybody comes up with trade to look at, that takes precedence. Remember that? That takes precedence. I'll waffle on in the meantime, but that takes precedence. But I'm just going to spend a few moments on that because, as I said, the United States is really, we've got to know what's going on there because it affects the markets more than just about anywhere else. Remember, it's not the biggest economy in the world. The Eurozone is, but the Eurozone is not the United States of Europe. There's different cultures, different languages, completely different. Whereas America's supposed to be the United States, like the United Kingdom, but it doesn't seem to be working out that way. Like the Scots don't like the English, the Irish don't like the English, the Welsh don't like the English. I'm not sure a lot of the English like the English. So it's not so much united. They're going on about Scottish Independent Party to get the idea. They want Northern Ireland to go with Southern Ireland, so it's no more. So it's a lot of divisiveness going throughout. But going back to the United States, it was expected to have some sort of control in the areas of the House and Senate, like I mentioned. The problem is the divisions there are even bigger than expected. We knew there were big divisions there, and it's even bigger, and it's not good going forward. As one guy said, the one thing that might come out, if they get at least one seat majority in the Senate, they will stop pushing through some of these ridiculous spending bills when they basically don't have the money for it. They have to borrow it, which means, again, weaker dollar. So if that occurs, we could get maybe a move back into shares, which could have a negative effect on the dollar. If the Republicans do get a slightly bigger than expected majority, as it stands at the moment, perhaps the Senate, it could be a bit of a movement to the positive on the share prices, the indices, etc. And then it means that be a less of a stake in the dollar. So surprise, that might mean a dollar weakening. You might be surprised at that. Yeah, a dollar weakening. Already some hints they might have to start practicing a little bit of the rather hawkish interest rates going forward if they get in. So that's a negative. If they have a complete 50-50 on the Senate, then it might end up being a slightly stronger dollar, a bit of a move towards the dollar as a second, and then maybe a negative on the current on the shares. You get where I'm coming from. These balls are up in the air unless you want to flick a coin, which you can do with pleasure. Which way it's going to call. At this stage, it's too difficult. And you can see in the volumes of traders, the indecision, the sideways motions, which is giving us as traders, quite frankly, be a little bit melodramatic. Yeah, hell on earth. Certainly from me, and the responsibility of trying to get decent trades out and try to assist. And it's not when you call up the doctor and say, what's wrong with me? And the doctor says, I don't know. You don't think much of the doctor. Well, I'm sorry if you didn't call me the doctor. No. It can go either way a lot of the times, and I'm just being upfront on that. Okay. Can't hear my voice. Some part boom. Okay. So so we don't have two sideways conversations. Just go back. We're talking about NZD USD. Okay. So I just want, before we jump in USD, guys, and sideways conversation in the chat line, I just want to listen to this because I can give you some great technical trades. We'll start with the NZD straight away. Let's just let these guys in. NZD, USD. Right, put it slightly more information. So what do you want to do with this one? Do you want to buy it or sell it? You want to buy it, right? Any particular reason why you want to sell the dollar at this particular stage if you want to buy the NZD? Before you answer that, I just want to mention the NZD has been fairly strong lately. It's not been affected by some of the other areas around the world, like China affects and had some problems, affects Australia. We've had a lot of problems up and down, you know, the US dollar, the Eurozone, etc. The GDP of Germany is well down when it used to be the #1, which affects Eurozone quite a bit. So quietly, slightly below the radar, NZD has been slightly unaffected by that and has resulted in quite a strong NZD, just so you know on the background. The thing is, on this one, if you want to buy it, therefore you're selling the dollar, which could well turn out to be correct. However, if things could change going out over there, it could see a sudden jump in the dollar and that could turn pear-shaped. I personally speaking, I'm going to be a little bit nervous of the dollar until I'm going to get some more information through what's happening in the United States, as I've been mentioning. Okay, that's what I think at the moment. From a technical point of view, it's in the neutral zone. It's not in the buy zone. It's not even in the sell zone. And look at yesterday's candle, complete indecision. I personally would not be getting involved with a buy or a sell. If you want to buy it, good luck. If you want to sell it, good luck. I'm not going to support a buyer or seller on this one. I'm going to leave it completely in your hands. The buyers and sellers are indecisions. Holding on resistance, I get that. But remember the technicals, all they're telling you, the whole idea of the technical is trying to tell you what the buyers and sellers are doing. Obviously, there's more buyers, simple as that, everyone will be buying, and vice versa. But the buyers and sellers are not telling you anything at the moment. Now, you can say US dollar strength, but not necessarily so. I think this thing about the NZD. Neither side is really in control at the moment. It's a bit of a balanced seesaw. So from that point of view, if you want to take a guess, you might come right. Lucky you. I'm not going to take that guess. Simple as that. Any comments on that, Zeph, or anybody else? Okay, but I just wanted to go that little soliloquy there on the midterms because it's so important. It does affect us, whether we like it or not. Even in little old South Africa, 7 days away, we've got to know what's happening there. Okay, all right. I hear that, Jethro, and that's emotional. It's got nothing really to do with the actual moving around sideways movement. I mean, that could suddenly change. You had a good run the last time, then we say it will repeat itself and vice versa. Don't forget that. Each time's a new spin, for a better word. Okay, CHFJPY, I'd say at least it's not dollar involved, but I still see the upside, but it's just battling to get going. It wasn't. What's happening now? CHFJPY. It seems to be trying to hold that area there. I saw a buy around about the 148, which I sent out a couple of so days ago, and it's down at the moment. It's up quite nicely at one stage, came down and gave me the jip as it did. But the 50-day held. That's why I like the 50-day. Remember, guys, everyone must have that 50-day moving average on their charts, as well as the 200-day moving average. Get more information here, as well as the 200-day moving average. It gives a filter, and it's good area of support and resistance. So have it, and don't forget to save the charts. Going back to that little bit more information, I still think I'll back to Swiss franc. People are a little bit worried about Japanese government intervention. If the yen gets too weak, they've already done that, but it had to come back a bit. But I don't see any fundamental strength going into the yen going forward to justify a break of that 50. That's what I see at the moment. Don't come and shoot me if something does crop up. A variable, there's a lot of variables out there which we don't know. I don't know what mood Cheryl just come up. I can honestly say I don't know what mood Cheryl's going to be when she wakes up tomorrow morning. I'm prepared to bet that if she's married, her husband doesn't. And I'm even prepared to bet Cheryl doesn't. It depends what mood you're in the morning. There's a lot of variables out there can affect it. Okay, so same sort of tease you on that, Cheryl, but I think you know what I mean. Just let that in there. Yeah. But you see the point I'm trying to make. If I bring it close to home to get and understand those variables, we've got to take an overall view, and that's why position sizing is so important, and that's why we have to have that stop loss and work it out basically on that, because it can come up and be very strange. As I say, so yeah, CFJPY, I'm still happy with it. It's held there. It flirted a little bit. The stop loss thing was a little bit low. I can't remember because I'm in it myself, but it seems to be holding for a little bit of a bounce up. I can't remember the figures exactly. But anyway, the bottom line is I still think we can get some. I still see the upside. Again, my problem, if we zoom in a bit, is again this lack of follow through. Where's that? Let's see just a second. Where's it going from there to there? It's only 50 odd pips. So over the last few days, it's had only basically about 100 pip movement, and we're right in the center of it. So normally speaking, if you missed it, here's a good chance to get in. I still see upside, but I'm just staying a little bit nervous on the moment. I'm going to try a 4-hour chart to get maybe a little bit more of a breakdown. See what I mean? These are pretty close together. Look at that range. Bounces, but no follow through. Comes down, bounces, no goes up, no follow through. Same principle. It's gone up this morning. Again, come off again, not on a follow through. So this is completely, I promise you newer guys, the more experienced guys say it as well, this is completely, utterly beyond my control. And I promise you, I stress I do my best for you guys, but with these sort of, remember, millions of people trading worldwide, and all these variables come into it, it gets extremely frustrating. So I reiterate again, guys, make sure you have correct position sizing and you protect your stop. There are going to be times where you get stopped out, you're frustrated because the damn thing bounces and it turns out it would have been a profit. I think I'd rather that happen than you continue to move your stop away or trade without a stop, or have you, or go in too big with a too wide a stop, and the thing doesn't actually come back and go in your favor. I had the Japanese yen out a couple of days ago. It did okay. I modified the stop, and I'll be honest, I got stopped out in a smidgen of profit, not much, but the point is, slight profit wasn't a loss. Again, that's why I say modifying the stop as every is a yin and a yang. You modify it, comes down, stops you out, and you make 5 rand, and you could have made 50, or you make 10 rand, you could have made 100, or made 100 instead of 10,000 or whatever. I think that's rather safe employ at the moment with these complete utter ups and downs that are occurring for international fundamental news hitting us on an almost daily basis. Okay, so that's being as it may. This one here, I still see the upside if I'm in. So if you're in, because I'm in, I hold it. But joining it here, I'm not so sure. I still think the strength there, it's just the lack of follow through is worrying me. But if you do like it, I have nothing against joining it here, but it's just a lack of follow through. Remember, I did have a trade at 148, so it's actually 20 pips better. So if you do want to join, I'm against it. I do see the upside. I'm just a little bit worried about the lack of follow. It's nothing to do with US politics. It's just a lack of follow through. And this is the 4-hour chart. I hope you get that. Well, you can certainly short it if you want to see a break on that, but I wouldn't be too sure about that show. Well, the 4-hour doesn't give me an indicator short. These candles don't give me any indicator short the 4-hour. And on the daily, I don't see any reason why you suddenly short it there. 3-4 days ago, it did bounce down. How far is that? Yeah, there's quite a few pips down. If you can see it coming back there, could well do. I'm not sure what driving it. I'm talking Japanese intervention here. I don't know if that is going to happen or not, but I'm sure it's driving it. And the yen's pulled back quite a bit and still also fairly high up. Remember that. I can do that in a moment. Yeah, I can do that, Jeff. Okay, so CHF-JPY, I think hold. I'm not saying I agree on the short, but I'm okay if you want to buy at these levels. Okay, if you do, just say so. We can put the risk reward up for you. Don't forget to say position sizing vital and modifying stop loss lacking. In the past, I didn't modify quite as much as I do now because I used to get more of a direction, but not so much now. Okay, so that's a little crazy on the US markets, made it a bit clearer to you. All right, anything else before we come to Zeph there? Okay. Well, just have a look at some of these there. Somebody mentioned gold earlier on. Before we do that, gold, I think, is a bit overcooked. I think we get some downside, but if that dollar continues to weaken and the yields still come off, then we could get some more upside. But after that big move up, I think it's going to settle a little bit sideways. Wait for more information to come out in the US before I decide to continue this journey up or down. I'm inclined to the downside, but we shall have to see. Okay. Okay, where were we? Okay, EURAUD, you want to buy it? Okay, well, clearly, as you can see, immediately on the day it's in the buy zone. Number one, that's a pro. What I don't like about it is the fact, I just look at the previous candles, there doesn't seem to be any follow through. That's my one major tick against, if you like. It has taken out the 10-day, remember that's the 200, that's the 50, got the golden cross, whatever that's worth. The 10-day, it seems to be holding, it below and washed up again. But this today is what, just under 10 hours old today, popped up again, nothing happened, sellers came in. So it tried popping down, nothing happened, buyers came in. Good luck, that's all I can say on that, but I'm not doing it myself. Any comments, guys? We'll look at the 4 hour if you like. See what I mean? That's not giving me any much more positives. Technically, I'm leaning towards the upside. I get that. The odds have been a bit weak, and we're on technically on the upside. It's just a lack of follow through. Look at the 1 hour if you like. Sideways. If we get too cute, might be bigger than we think. It's only 26 pips over the hours, not much. I'm not over keen. Like that, Jeff. I'm hoping to profit in all 7 trades. That's very profound there, Jeff. If you don't mind me teasing you. Oh, yeah, there's so much full-on decision there. But I'm going to be a bit of a trading wuss on that one. I'm going to stand the sidelines. Not in favour of short or long at the moment. There's not much seems to be happening. But if I had to, probably slightly more the long side of the short. I'd agree on that. But I'm certainly clacking on it as well, Cheryl. Let's go and clap together. Yeah. Look at that candle there. Look at that follow through. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry to have to tease you on that. I've looked at profit all of them. Oh, really? I did that once. Kind of the guy I was in equities at the time, and the guy says, "I'm looking to profit on my shares." I couldn't help it. I said, "Oh, really?" Luckily, he missed the. Yeah. No kidding. Okay, so for me personally, unless people disagree, want to put the risk reward up for a buy or a sell if you want. I'm saying I'm going to wait on that one. Anyone want to do it? Comes from Cheryl, who's chickening out on this one. It's all right for you to say cheer him on when you're not on board, eh? You're shooting out there, all right, mate. Well, all right, you're a trading marine. Cheryl and I are going to be trading clucks. Okay. And we've got a gesture of cluck here. I think we're going along on the clucks at the moment. The cluck clan. Am I allowed to say that today? So we're leaving that. Okay. Oh, Clinton, you joined us. How's it? Okay, so we'll cluck out of that one. Oh, sorry, Clinton. Now you're on. No pressure. Are you a cluck on this one, or do you see along on this? I'll wait. Okay. So I hate to say we're all long on clucks. Right, moving along. Right. Just so you know, Clinton, Zeph's quite an experienced guy, and we often have some fun here where we take opposite trades and see how they work out. Fairly experienced. So although we tease each other, we hopefully respect I certainly respect his opinion as well. And it's great help just to embarrass him further to us trading room. Because remember, this is a forum, Clinton, as well. This is a forum. This is not a class. And sometimes you make a changeover from a class to a forum can be a bit difficult. You get in the habit of doing an instruction. This is not an instruction where we're teaching people Forex or we're teaching people CFDs or teaching people indicators, etc. This is a clarification of any doubts you learn in the class and to go to trading ideas, looking over the overall fundamentals of what's happening around the world to aid the traders. Once you go into too much classroom technique, you're taking away from the guys who bought the course. And number one, well, actually, that's probably number two, actually. Number one is really the guys want to come and get trades going. They don't want to waste their time teaching people for free. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so if you're not sure it's gobbledygook, and I can't clarify it in a few words, well, a lot of words, I'm quite vociferous, as I think we all know, then you need to go to the class. This is not the place to be. This is a forum. Reasonably democratic. We've still got to host it myself, but we try to make it a forum with everyone opinion counts, just so I remember that. Okay, hope that was clear. That's the main point of that. I'll go over that again with you tomorrow, Friday, on that basis there, Clinton, if you see what I mean. Okay, right, euro dollar. Now, it's me when you say euro dollar is dollar. Now, what I've been saying earlier on about the dollar, a little bit nervous. I think it's going to go on all day, this, by the way. I think we might get some clarity tomorrow. I think some are so close at the moment, there can even be recounts, which will make it even more of a bloody performance. What a pain. But anyway, I'm nervous. Now, what do you want to do with the dollar? Do you want to buy or you want to buy it? Okay, well, you've got more guts than me. This is definitely a trading buddy. Special Forces Tier 1 operative we've got in ZEF at the moment. SEAL, Delta, SAS doesn't cut it. This is top of the range Black Ops job, quite honestly. I'm afraid I'm going to cluck even louder on this one, on the last one, as regarding a buy. Good luck, mate. I'm definitely steering clear, but if I did, I think they might be going short, but I can't see that until we get some more clarity on dollar strength in the US midterms. But I shall give this a body swerve at the moment. That is my opinion. Remember, this is an opinion. I've got a bit of experience, of course, but I don't know. Nobody does. I tend to go along a bit more with you on this one, Cheryl. As Cluck's got to stick together. Can't be taken out by one Special Forces operative. It's just not fair. Okay, Jared, so we'll just go through all the other trades first and get a quiet minute. I'll certainly do that in a visit. Sorry, Jared, a bit of a favor there. Just remind me later. We've got a few steps to look through. And then after that's sort of done, if we don't see any other big trades, I'll do that. Not just for you, Jared. This is important. You're asking behalf probably a lot of people out there. So thanks for that. Just remind me later on. Okay, let's go down, Sean. Oh yeah, you've got to do a couple of classes here. I've seen you've done a couple. If you haven't done any classes, you don't know moving averages, you don't know lot sizes, you don't know what leverages, you don't know how to go to get the margins or what you mean when we say you're in leverage instruments. If you don't know any of that, you've got to go to classes first. Otherwise, you'll definitely be driving very blind. Okay. But if you have done a few, we'll come back to that. Brenton WTI, certainly Etienne, I just want to do the others first. We'll look at that in a moment, just want to do the others first. Unless I get any interruption, I'm going to move on with euro dollar. Stay away. GBP CAD, I still see downside on that one, but this is giving me serious jib. Serious jib. But it seems to be trying to come to the party. That's the weekly, don't forget. Done that before. This is the daily, right? Okay, this is why I do my strategy. Guys, pick a one you come through the strategy. I think the week's a bit long. I think the daily will be fine. If you prefer the 4 hour, that's okay. The tech stocks and the US shares are a little bit more volatile. You could maybe squeeze on the 4, but normally speaking, shares a daily or weekly strategy. I do everything on the daily. So I can swap my to 1 hour, 4 hour, weekly, monthly, 1 minute, but 15 minutes or whatever, but I do it on the daily. And as you can see here, where's the 200? Let's find it. It's still in the neutral zone. Remember, it's above these two, I call that the strong zone, neutral zone, weak zone. I can sell in this zone if it's overcooked and buy if it's undervalued, but this you can buy or sell. I still think the pound, the honeymoon period, now we settled down with the new PM, I think it might soon come to an end. I think the CAD's a little bit undervalued on a fundamental basis. So I'm sticking with my overall picture. I look for downside rather than upside. So what's the hassle? Look at yesterday's candle. Comes off, buyers come in. The wick is very, very useful. I mean, you go to some of these classes, I think Clinton's taught one or two, we get all these lovely names of candles. I personally think keep, like me, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. What that candle is telling me is what the buyers and sellers are doing. Just by looking at like a headline, you can see immediately that, excuse me, that wick means you're not getting the follow through. As it comes down, the buyers are coming in. Came down, this held, look how it works. This held, put its head below, then the buyer screamed in. Held again, buyer screamed in. Lack of follow, comes off a bit, then the buyers are coming in. So now it looks like it might be pushing up a bit, but no, look again, this is only, remember, 10 hours old. The sellers are coming in again. See how to read them. It's not difficult. I'm trying to get this mystique out of it. You listen to Bloomberg and all that, and think all this amazing mystique. No, it's all about buyers and sellers. You can complicate that as much as you like. But the bottom line is, I don't care how good your product is, if you haven't got any buyers, nothing's going to happen. I don't know how bad it is, but people are buying it, it's going to work for you. And that's as simple as that. You can talk to your blue in the face about why I shouldn't. But that's it. So all I'm trying to look at here is what is the slightly stronger of the two. At the moment, I still think the Canadian is slightly stronger than the pound, despite what these guys are saying there. Overall, on the longer term picture, having said that, at the short term picture is, I think it's slightly overcooked, but it's not giving me a lot of follow through. So I see downside, but if you take it, I prefer to be on the downside, but get your stop modified pretty damn quick to protect yourself in case the down up again. Now, let's just check the distance here. If it gets back down here, that's nearly 200 pips. It's a long way. If it gets here, that's 70 pips. That's not bad. So we can get a short down to even those levels. Even if your TP is there and your stop is up here, you move it down, even if it gets to there and doesn't get anywhere near there, and you modify your stop, you might get a few pips out of it. At least you won't take a loss on it. It's not a great way to trade, I get that, but it's certainly better than getting a nice little winner and then suddenly finding it's turned to a loser and you're holding on to losing ones where you're getting nervous, you're losing interest, you're losing confidence in your trades because they're seeing a lot of red there and nothing's happening. Rather not sit around with those, or rather not get that situation in the first place. Always, 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 always remember percentage of balance. The international norm is about 2%, but you need about 50K above when you're looking at 2 or 3%, should we say. We don't want people in 10, 15% or 20, 30, 40K upward accounts, 20, 30% down on one instrument, hoping and hoping. That's not the way to do it. It's overcooked. It's not the way. Okay. Right. So yeah, on the GBP CAD, I see downside, but the chips there. But those are in it. Hold. If you want to take it now, we're going to put the stop. Is that too far away? No, you put the stop maybe there, and maybe 100 pips. Take it down there. You get a 1.6 ratio if you want to take it. But if it doesn't get there, we don't want you to not make a profit on it. So as a buy, I'm not sure about that. I see the sell side. So again, we've got a situation, Zeph sees a buy, I see a sell. If no one wants to do it, there's no point. But if anyone wants to do this, we can put a sell down and a buy down. You know, I write down 2 people or more, I write it down to trading idea of a buy or a sell, and we'll just see how it works out. So I'll put Zeph for a buy and the sell for a short. Anybody want to join these 2 people at buy or short this level after I've been saying? Just going to scroll down. This was I'm talking. Sean, preps on the demo. Before I go any further, the demo is there to learn how to operate the platform and to try out a new strategy, not to learn how to trade. I mean that sincerely. I've been around the block a couple of times and I started off with a demo and I thought I was doing okay in it. And I started to enjoy the demo and it took a lot to kick me off. Once I was off, that's when I learned how to trade, because it's a completely different ballgame. I don't know how much you know about sport, but I've just used golf. You've got a 6-foot putt on the driving range for a bit of fun, probably a good chance of making it. Then somebody stands up to you and you're about to do it again, so I'll give you $1 million if you make that putt. Believe you me, it's a different ball game. That 6 foot suddenly becomes like 1,600 feet putt. You only really learn when you got emotion involved. Quite frankly, I don't know, I can't say exactly, but I think at least 75, maybe more percentage of trading with real money is emotions. Take that out, and there's no point. That's why I say top sportsmen idolize, because they're outperform under pressure. A lot of highly skilled people can't do that. And if you can't perform under pressure, you won't be able to trade. It will not teach you on the demo. Gives you a false sense of security. So be careful of that. Okay. But I just want to finish off this one here. Anybody, just go through it. Anyone who want to buy or sell the GBP CAD? Well, you'll be the first I've ever come across. If you don't use emotion, Sean will be the first I've ever come across, ever. Well done. Excuse the cynicism, but no. Okay, well, hold on to your sell. I'm sort of about joining now. I'm not, if you're in the downside, fine, you're doing okay. I'm right. But I'm saying, anybody want to buy or sell this one? Sell. Okay, so what a sell? We'll put the sell up, and then we go back to the others. Okay. Sorry to go on a bit on the trading, because you need to see the overall picture, just to make sure we understand it. Right, I want to put the stop up here, maybe there. So let's look. I should just shout the way there and put the TP down here somewhere. 153.16. Yeah, we've got a plenty of risk reward. You can see that 110 bucks a micro. You know how that works. If you can afford 200, it's 2 micro. 0.01's a micro, 0.1's a mini, 1.0 is a standard lot. So it's 110 rand a micro. You know what you're prepared to risk. Divide that 110 in what you're prepared to risk. If it's, let's say, 290, you can either go for 3 or round down to 2. If it's 250, rather round it down to 2, then up it to 3. But that's your choice. But you know how to do it from there. If you want to do it, say so. 2 people, I'll put it down to sell, and then we'll look at Zeph, who's got the buy, and we'll see what's to follow him on that. Okay, Sean wants to do a buy on it. You want to do a sell. So Kim and Pete are gone for a sell. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. Today's GBP CAD. If you're already in it, please, for goodness sake, don't jump in again. You're overexposed. Remember that. If risk is 500 and you go in again, now your risk is 1,000. Then you're totally overexposed. Sell. What's it? One was jumping around again. It's just battling to get going. Really battling to get going, eh? 1.5584, 1.5316. If it does come right, don't forget to modify your stop loss in case it bounces up. Give me a bit of jip. Any doubt, stay out. That's all I can say on that one. Well, the 5 minutes ain't going to tell you much, to be honest. 5 minutes and all those are just for what we call proprietary or prop traders who trade for the institutions for the companies, so they don't have any margin worries or any cost worries. They just purely for the movement, and they can take 2 pips and be in a profit. Take a pip and be in a profit, come on that. And they'll use a very short term, slightly different. Okay, so we've got a couple of sell. Now, anyone want to buy this? I know Zeph does, so that's me. And I put down, get 2 more people other than Zeph, that is, who want to buy it. I'll put down the Zeph trade and have some fun working out. And remember, as you're thinking about this, we can both win. We had that the other day, I think the Euro CHF a couple of 2 or 3 weeks ago, Zeph, where I think you went for a long, I went for a short. Came down, modified the stop, made a couple of bucks, turned around, went up. You modified the stop and made a couple of bucks. We both won. That's how volatile the markets are. So there we are. So we came out handshaking. An ideal situation, both winners. Okay, so GBP CAD, anybody want to buy it? I need 2 people and I'll write it down. Yeah, well, this is it. The spread's got to be taken into account. That's absolutely Jethro, completely. They don't have spreads, those guys. Not worried about it. They have expressions say getting in between the spreads. The institutional guys can get in between the spreads because they work for the company. The spreads are called the market maker spread to give the market maker the edge. Simple as that. Because he sets the prices. Okay. A lot of people say spreads compared to, I don't know, Charles Schwab or Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan. Bit why? Well, if you start putting millions into the account, we'll narrow our spreads. But they don't have, 100 rand accounts. You get the point. So they got the volumes to have that tighter. Economy of scale. Sure, nice one. Okay. All right. I'm not getting any buyers yet. Okay, so we'll leave, see how it works out there, Zeph. Should we go back up to his stuff there? Just give me a moment. What's the next on there? Right. Remember, I've moved quickly because sometimes we have to move quickly in the markets. You take half an hour to make your mind up and often find the ship has sailed. So sometimes you've got to be on it. Sometimes quite slow, no problem, but sometimes you've got to be on it. GBP CHF, you're buying everything except the last one. GBP CHF. Still not probably going to disagree with you on actually the last one. GBP CHF. Right, you want to buy this one? Neutral zone. Okay, look at this now. Neutral zone. That's not giving much clarification. Swiss has been a bit weak lately, but still it's not too bad. Pound is very much a maverick currency we discussed many times. Indecision today, indecision yesterday. I'm going to cluck, 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 and I'm going to idolize this guy. I think he's going to be like a Rambo. Never mind special forces, Zeph's a bloody Rambo. Yeah, so we've got a new name for Zeph, it's Rambo. Do you want to join Rambo on this one or leave it alone and cluck, cluck with me? If anything, I'd rather see downside, but I'm sort of angry, slack the downside, but I'm the spare side. So who wants to be a Rambo and join Rambo on this? Rambo 1, Rambo 2 as a buy. Cluck clucks for Africa, I'm afraid. I know where you guys find all these bloody voters. Some of them hell of smart. Works a lot on their own. Forget Rembrandt and Van Gogh. Did you hear that? Van Gogh, not Van bloody Gogh or Notre Dame's Americans say. Anyway, moving along. GBP JPY. Right. I still say the Japanese are a bit iffy. I know the intervention we've had, but the pound, I'm still slightly in favor of the pound. So I'd rather be long than short on this one. So I'll agree with you on that one. Again, are we getting the follow through? Is it going to be worth our while? It's in the buy zone. They get that indecision a little bit today already. See a wick at the top, a wicket below. Okay. Where can we take it? That's 80 pips. Where's a stop? 80 pips. But no man's land for me to join this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm being a right clucking bloody Bussish bore here, but I'm sorry to say it might happen a lot today. This bloody election thing hanging around our heads, where we're going to have a lot of chit chat but not a lot of action. I'm sorry to say. The guys on my WhatsApp groups will probably see what the hell's going on. Well, rather not. That's why it's a bit quiet. You can screen for a trade, and I'll give you one with pleasure. Don't come back crying. It's not a good one simply because we jumped in without enough confidence in it. I don't have a confidence to buy or sell this one. I'm leaning towards the buy. I'm with you on that, Seth, but I just, that's the risk reward. I don't want to put my TP up here at this stage. I want to leave it there, which means I can't get the risk reward. So I'm going to sit on the fence and cut my way again on this one. Okay. So what you guys got to say? Ducking out. Okay, we've got a couple of chickens. We've got a duck here. But I think the duck and the chickens are cluck clucks anyway. Quack, quack, cluck, cluck. Similar. I think I'm overdoing this bit of BS, but it's all in fun. Okay, right. Where were we? Okay, so we'll cluck, cluck that one. Sorry about that, Zeph. GBP USD. You're going to buy it? Sure. Forget Rambo. Wow. Okay, GBP USD. Okay, right. That would be a nice, beautiful short. Jump right up. I think it's overcooked. Too much going to happen to the dollar. I'm not doing it in the moment. At the dollar, I think we get a decent pullback here. I prefer to be on the short side of this one. Although it's in a neutral zone, you can buy it with pleasure. But I'm certainly not going to buy this one. I'm going to leave it. It might be a bit questionable on the US dollar side, but the pound is very questionable. extremely questionable on a fundamental basis. I don't think it's got enough strength to carry it through to make any decent risk reward. Let's have a look how far this is to the top there. 80 pips. Well, I suppose it's making the kick in the shin. But look at that indecision. How far is it to the top of this one here? 40 pips. Can't get a risk reward. If you're edging out in profit, good for you. Talk about guys going in now. I'm not going to recommend that. I'll leave it. Clinton, what do you think? What do you think? What's your opinion? Would you jump in on this one now? I'll come to that in a minute, Sophie. That's quite an important question on the NAS. You can, of course, I'll just unmute. If you want to chat, with pleasure do that, because you'll be doing it soon anyway. So you can unmute and chat if you want. Going right to the bottom again. Waiting decision, waiting. Okay, we're agreed on that one. I see downside and wait. If you want to chat, please feel free there, Quinton. No time like the present, getting some practice if you have anything to say on that. Okay, we've done the GBP CAD, which is down there. Okay, US dollar CAD. Okay, US dollar CAD. Here we are. So you want to sell this one. Well, this could well turn out to be actually quite a good one, surprise. You know, I talk about the CAD and the dollar being fairly strong. If this turns out in the favor of the weakness of the dollar, you could well turn out to be correct on that. I will not preempt it. It's in the neutral zone. I'm definitely going to sit on the fence on this one and wait. Okay, so I don't have any comments on that. Just going to scroll to the bottom. We'll do the NAS, and let's write the NAS so don't forget. It's quite important. Not just because it's the NAS, because it's the overall picture. So anybody sees this one? Head and Shoulders, okay. Right, Head and Shoulders. I'm not sure I spot it myself, but Head and Shoulders is okay when we're doing very little fundamental interference. It's a popular way of pure technicals, but with fundamental interference, a lot of these Head and Shoulders can turn out not to be a bit on the disappointing side. That's why I go on about the fund is and what's happening news, because it is affecting us so much more than it did in the past. The reason is mainly because of the smartphone. Everybody can, I mentioned before, everybody can be got at by world news or spin or propaganda or whatever you want to call it. You know, at the touch of a button, the guys who control the media can get at you immediately. Nothing like that in the past. But how long has smartphone been going? About 10 years in the entire history of human being doing that capability. Now it can get to you anywhere in the world, communicate to you instantly, virtually free on WhatsApp immediately. No delay whatsoever, at the speed of bloody light, get to you, and it's being pushed around by that. That's why we've got to take to account. The cell phone's a wonderful thing, but it's a wonderful instrument for propaganda. Remember that. Remember Obama, when he first got in, he used the SMS. That's only, what about 10, 12 years ago. Now, you get the point. Now look at it. It's completely different. It's a different ballgame. Just bear that in mind. Right. Okay. So again, I'm sorry, I'm standing on there on the sideways, and I'm looking at that candle there, indecision, and I think the world is sitting waiting for more information on the US. So be careful of dollar entry at the moment. That includes gold, and we're going to come to shares at the NASDAQ indices in a moment. If you want to sell it, yeah, I'll put it on pleasure. Yeah, presumably you want to go along with Zeph and sell it. See what we've got here, up here. You can probably do a stop up there, probably better out the way there. Then you need a TP down here somewhere. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, do it down there, 132.33. Yeah, you get your risk rewards. Wide stop, 140 bucks a micro, that's fair enough. Yeah, if you like that, you see the dollar weaken going forward, you're making a bet that we're going to get the Senate, as well as the Republicans, a better majority expected, which means they probably will have a slight weakening on the dollar. You will come right. If you're taking a bet on that, that's fine. I'm definitely waiting for the dust to settle, I'm afraid, Cheryl. I'm not the luckiest guy in the world when it comes to second guessing luck or whatever. Okay, but that's been said. Do you want to join, Jeff? Anybody else? Jeff would like to join it. Are you going to join it, Jeff? Jethro, anybody else? And thank you, of course, as always, Seth. Anybody else want to join Zeph and Jethro on that? Jeff and Seth. There we go. Anyone join Zeph and Jeff? You can say that. Well done. On the short of this one. But you're going to wait. Wait. What does a Me Too mean? I don't know if you're going to wait or not. I want to join it. Now, Jethro is not going to join. He's waiting for it. And yeah, that's the same as not joining it. Joining it. Gerard's joining. One more is going to go in. That's it. No, hang on, Jethro. That's a cop out. That's a pending order. No. I'm talking about going in at market. Nice one. No, caught you there, mate. Pending order doesn't cut it. Going in at market. Joining. Okay. There's a risk reward there. I'm just going to put that down. I'm going to put that down as a Zeph trade. It works out all right. Well done, Zeph. Sell. What's it? 134.22. 135.29. 132.33. I won't be posting out on my WhatsApp groups telling you, but we'll see how it works out. Hi there, morning, Morris. Don't know how long you've been here. We're just saying that the markets have been very, I can't remember a better word, really, iffy. Not very financially jargon astute, but iffy. A lot of things interfering with outside our control. We're doing our best, Morris, I promise you. Stuff that's coming out there is beyond our control. Some of it's like driving safely and somebody just drunk drives in front of you. It's, fundamentally giving us a bit of a tough time. Okay, what I'd like to do then is to WhatsApp me your full details. I can't say Sean Adley. I mean, I don't know who Sean is. So I'll put my number down. I'm just going to be up front on this, by the way, just before I say anything. Was it? Is it now? 3435 from bloody number. 06152 3431. That's it. Right, out. WhatsApp trading support. You know that. Or you put down senior analyst. I like that one. Nah, trading support will do. Last couple of trading support better than senior analyst, eh? Yeah, but there are certain restrictions we're bringing in on the group. The ones already in the small amount will leave, but we're bringing certain restrictions on that, where a guy's got to have 2.5 grand or more. We're trying to get more serious, to try and get guys to start taking this seriously. Hey, Zeph, guys are putting in $100 and want to fight the international $1 trillion market without understanding what a margin is. We're trying to say, get some knowledge first, for your own sake, never mind ours. Okay, so, yeah. A lot of them, that's why they'll, watch that position size in the stop loss, but it'll come right. Don't always remember when times are down. A couple of weeks ago, we had about 10 trades on the trot, everyone a coconut. And the only one in doubt was NGAS. NGAS is the one actually doing quite well at the moment. So just try and bear that in mind. Get nostalgia of the good days. Okay, I'll only attend it after 11. Okay, so there's US dollar CAD if you want it. I think we've done those. Right, the NASDAQ. Now, the NASDAQ is, as you know, an index of 100, not entirely, but mostly tech shares. And a lot of those tech shares, the big boys, are in the S&P and the Dow as well, don't forget. There's a NASDAQ 3000 composite, which is made up of everything in that NASDAQ 3000. We don't have it on here. I'm just mentioning out of interest, which includes everything except financials, just so you know that. Also, what I mentioned tomorrow is the CPI in the United States coming out. Remember, it's 3:30 now, since the New York time went back an hour. So 3:30, it's coming out tomorrow. That's inflationary or non-inflation, depending, and that will be something else important to watch. Hopefully, by then we'll have some sort of result coming in. Right, the NASDAQ, if the Republicans do get the House, even not the House, sorry, the Senate, just one seat, and I think they're going to get to Republicans, but a slightly better majority than 1 or 2 in the House. I think you're going to get a bit of a surge. So be careful of the NASDAQ anytime. In normal circumstances, again, be careful. At the moment, be ultra careful. Technically speaking, I hear you on the downside. That's been my short the rallies going forward. Even my weekly snippet, I said that. But now I'd say be careful. I think if the Republicans do get the House and the Senate, I think we're going to have a surge in the share prices, which includes obviously the indices, because they make up the index, as you hopefully well know. So I would certainly be careful of the NASDAQ, ultra careful before you get cute at the moment. And I apply that to the Dow and the S&P. Remember what I said before, guys, if you've got less than 4 or 5K, preferably 5K in your account, try and concentrate. If you like an index, go for the S&P, not the NAS or the Dow, because especially not the Dow. Okay, remember I said before, you've got to check, go left click, right click, and then go and left click on specification, give the information on that instrument, these are all instruments in your watch list there. It says 10, that's the contract size. So 1.0 is 10 times that figure in dollars. You've got to multiply by 17, call it 18, you know, make my life easier to get into rounds. Now that is 11,000. So sorry to reiterate this again for you guys. Left click, right click, specifications, contract size 10. Well, I haven't done that NASDAQ. Sorry, the Dow, sorry about that. Drag it across. 11,000, this is 33,000, 3 times the size. You get the idea. So 0.01 or 0.1 or 1 on the Dow is 3 times the size of the exposure as is on the NASDAQ. And it frightens me how many people are seeing this. They've got to have the basic understand arithmetic of it. Maths, I think, is a bit of a big word, but I'll use maths anyway. You understand the maths of it. So it's not a one size fits all. I've said that before. Now we go down to the S&P 500. 500 shares make up the index, so that's why it's called as such. Right click, specifications, contract size 10. But look at this. I've done it again, haven't I? Sorry. Look at this. There we are. Contract size 10, exactly the same contract. But look, it's 3 grand. That's not quite, it's about, Dow's about 9 times the size of that. So you go 0.01 on the S&P, the other way around, sorry, 0.01 on the Dow, that's like going 0.09 on the S&P. Now we're going to do a quick trade on the Dow to show what I mean, put the risk reward up. This is clear, not seem to be clear to most, so you might have sped it out, you might get it, because there's so many hiccups occurring on this, it's frightening. We're going to do a trade on this now, to make it long or short. Let's go short, what the hell? Going to go short. We're going to put the stop, we're going to put the stop up here, out the way, okay? Make sure it's the correct place, beg your pardon. Slightly higher, out of the way up there. We'll put just a bit higher, up the way, that's the correct place to put the stop. We'll put the TP down here, what's that? 32.5. 32.519. There you are, $600 a micro. Now, you do what you like, it's your money. I suggest if you've got 10 grand in your account, your maximum risk should be 500 to 600 rand per instrument or trade. Doesn't mean to say you double up by going the Dow Jones twice, the CAD JPY twice per trade. So you might have 600 risk in the CAD JPY, 600 risk on the EUR/AUD and 600 risk on, I don't know, whatever. I get the idea. So this one, you shouldn't be trading unless you've got about 10 or even more in your account. Get the idea? See what I mean? And that means 1.0 exposure is 10 times that. That's 330,000. That's about 5 million, slightly more, maybe 5.5 million rand exposure for 1.0. So call it 5 million, 500, 1.0, and 50,000 exposure, 0.01. And guys with highly leveraged accounts like 500 to 1, 500, 600 rand in it are going in 0.01. I've seen them going even higher than that. 0.02, they've got 100,000 rand exposure. You get the idea, with the price of a hamburger in their account. And then they're going to get margin for it. You get the idea. So that's why, let's go and do another one now, the S&P, so you all clearly understand this. Again, we just shown it's 10. So now I'm going to put the stop up here. So we put the stop up here. It's a bit close, we can put it up here. Right, 3922. Let's say we're going to go short this one again. 3922, put it just up there. And then we can put a stop loss down here somewhere, maybe put it down here. 3665. 665. There, you get a risk reward above 1.5, that's fine. 179 rand. You get the idea. So guys with 2 or 3 grand can do that. You get the idea. Guys with 2 or 3 grand can do that. And that's why if you've got a smaller account and you want to do an index, concentrate on that one. If you do the NAS, as so many people find it sexy, I think that's the thing to do, they're getting margin called. Because they don't have the capital. It's like me going shopping for a, I don't know, a Lamborghini. If you don't have the capital, it's not going to happen. Clinton's different because he's got the capital, because he owns property all over the country, like Capes in France, things like that, so he can. But he's just lucky that way. Hey, Clinton, true, eh? Only teasing. Well, there you are, Sean. I don't know how much money you got in your account. I'm sure you don't want to tell everybody out there. But if you're going to do the NAS, preferably 5 grand, depending where the stop is. If you've got a wide stop at 250 pips, that's 25 US dollars. You're talking about 400 rand. So you're going to start looking around, and there is about 6,000 or slightly higher to do the NAS on 0.01. Otherwise, again, please, you get it margin call. Don't come scream to us, you get margin call. It didn't hit the stop. No, because you didn't have enough money to go into it. You've got to have free margin in your account. If your free margin runs out, you're going to get margin call. The deposit or margin is purely collateral from the point of view of the lender of the money. Derivative means you're borrowing money. It's like saying, I'm not buying the car for 200 grand, I'm putting a deposit down. Well, someone's lending the money, so they want some sort of collateral. You're not going to, somebody knocks on the door of the traffic light, say, please borrow me 1,000 rand, I'll pay you back honest. You're not going to lend it to the person. The risk is too high. Same sort of principle. If you're out of collateral, they close that position immediately. Just bear that in mind. And that's another risk. People say, I've just shoved in 5K to protect it. I'm not sure I agree with that. It's all you're doing is you're putting more money on a loser, hoping it's going to come right. People say, run with the winners and cut short your losers, but people do the other way around. Because psychologically, the pain of fear is far more powerful than the pleasure of gain. So they hang on to the losers, they put more money in it, hope it's going to come right, because they can't take the 5 grand, the 10 grand, the 15, the 20 grand loss, and they throw good money after back until they've got no money left. Okay, you've got to be able to take a loss in this business. It's the way it is. That's not a good idea. All you're doing is you're investing in the loser, basically, by putting more money in, taking good money after bad. Okay. Okay. Right. So I hope I clarified the difference between them. Always look at the contract value. Okay. If it says 100 or it says 10 or 1,000 or 10,000, you've got to take that into account. Absolutely vital. One size does not fit all. And gas not doing too badly, actually. we got a trade in about, I think, days of Pontius Pilate, actually, when the Dead Sea first reported sick, eh? But still be trundling along. At least it's up anyway. I think got about 6.15 or 6.17 or something a couple of weeks or so ago. It's trundling along the right direction. Yeah. It's too slow for my liking. If you like it, fair enough. Yeah, you had my bills in the post there, Sean, and it's hectic. It's hectic. When you get that bill, it will be hectic. Okay, where were we? Okay, NGAS. It's in the sell zone, but I think it's going to maintain a bit of upside. We've still got a bit of winter over there. These heating. It's been a bit dorm at the moment. I think probably a bit upside. It's too slow. It's just, if you like it, I'll put something up. I'm not very keen on it. I like it, Portugal. I've been to Spain. I loved it. And apparently Portugal is just as good. The Portuguese said even better, probably vice versa Spanish. But yeah, if it's anything as good as Spain, I love it. I love the attitude. I love the. I'd move there tomorrow. I'm thinking of doing it, actually. You can still do this in trading, you know, as long as you've got your trade remote in Spain. What a pleasure. But I haven't been to Portugal, so I can't comment on it. Okay, where were we? NGAS. Well, you would say that, Zeph, I get that, but NGAS, where is it? Oh, yeah. Do you want to buy it or sell it? Kim, what do you want to do? Oh, the South Coast, Sean, I like it. I like the South Coast. You're talking about Natal, yeah. One thing I have to say before, what do you want to do? Buy or sell it? See a buy, okay. Okay, I can put the stop down here somewhere, maybe a little bit further. Maybe a bit further, maybe down there somewhere. Maybe 590, there we are. If it's a bit tight, tell me. 5.9. Sorry, guys, you knew we normally get 2 or 3, 4 trades out in trading, sometimes even more. Just a bit quiet. Rather sit and wait for the dust to settle and we'll get some more. Rather do that than kick yourself if it goes badly. You've got to take out the S somewhere. That's if you're aiming there, it's not going to work. So you're going to probably have to aim a little bit higher. Maybe aim there. 7.28. Try that. If you want to go higher, tell me. I'll put my hand up. I'm not keen. I think I'll leave it. I'm happy with the previous order we got at 6.15. For those already in, still holding, we can trundling along. And what happened there? 7.3. Just about squeeze. If you want to adjust them, say so. For the tighter, but there you are. From the tighter or whatever. Tighter stop or more wider TP to get a better risk reward. Up to you. It's about $100 a micro at those levels. No, I thought we were talking about South Coast and Natal. You said the South Coast. You try to say it's all right in SA. Why go to Portugal? That's what I thought you meant by that. But yeah, Portugal's that stripper line just to the west of Spain. I think they're like the Scots and the English. They don't get on. No, like that. There you are. Okay. We mentioned the NAS me. That's right. Oh, gold. Haven't we discussed gold? Right, gold. I think it might get some down. Shall I jump in too quickly now? I thought we were going to get some downside earlier on, so it popped up, but it seems to be on the 4-hour chart, waiting for decision. That's telling us indecision. Pops down, buyers come in, trying to pop down a bit. Seems to be a bit of a sort of a, not even a dollar. Seems to be like, yeah, it seems to be about $8 a range at the moment, which is not very much. Could be a bit of downside, but I still think wait for it's so dependent on what happens in the DXY and the 10-year yields. I've told you about that. I'll talk about that. We haven't mentioned too much today, but I'll copy and paste for you in a moment. But you need to keep an eye on what about the copy and paste and have it handy, because gold will depend on that. So is the dollar, and of course the indices and shares. Gold particularly. Okay, it wants a weak dollar to go up and a falling yields on the 10-year note to go up, and vice versa. Okay, I'll just print them for you. This is the DXY. We talk about the DXY. I'm just going to copy and print it, save it into your browser, and you need to refer to it. You need to know when we talk about DXYs, know what we're talking about. We can't spend hours explaining that. It's quite straightforward. It's an index of 6 currencies that make up the dollar index called the DXY. I'll do the 10-year yields quickly for you. This is the bond. The US Treasury bond, they call the notes, is 10 years. The bond's usually 15 years and longer. We're talking about the yields on the bond, not the actual bond itself. They go in the opposite direction. The yields, higher yields means worse for the stock market and worse for gold, and vice versa. And I filtered it. You can always play the filter and add take a few things out if you like, but I filtered it for the economic calendar. Also vitally important. You can play with the filter if you're not happy with what I filtered it to. Add a few things, take them out or whatever. So keep those and make sure you save them. No, I've done it. Sorry, I made a mistake. I put Paul Clinton. Meant to everyone. I have to do all over again. But you can't.
Roger, I posted everything in the chat. So
okay, good to see you. Sorry, I just thought it was direct, so I went to you by mistake. Thanks for the trouble. Okay,
no
good. Now, finally, dealing with Clinton, it's not much, but it's slightly more advanced than me when it comes to software, internet, IT is what I'm looking for. I mean, I'm being horribly honest with you guys. I don't think make me the chairman of the board of the IT department anytime soon. Just bear with me on that. Thanks for your help there, Clinton. Okay, all right. So gold, again, looking for maybe a short, but wait till more news comes out. It could dart up or dart down, we'll see. If you want to take a high risk, go one with the other, because then you won't miss out on the big move. But it could be a big move like yesterday and stop your answers. But if you do go for it, my God, better have a stop loss. Okay, now we've got a few minutes left. A quick explanation until we run out of trade ideas. Remember, when you post, that comes first. Yeah, I'm going to say now about the stop loss. Oh, yes, that's right. The stop loss. Remember, the stop loss means what it says, stopping the loss. But even more important, it's a buy or sell order. The stop loss, if you're selling, is a buy order. If you're buying, it's a sell order. So your stop loss and TB are opposite to the order entry. So you're buying long, the S, L, and TB are sell orders. If you're going short, the SL and TB are buy orders. That means you've got to have somebody who disagrees with you. So people saying, why wasn't I stopped out? Because I went short, I put my stop here, and I wasn't stopped out. Why not? Because overnight something happened and gold opened up. Let's say there, we wouldn't because it's going around the clock. But let's say over the weekend, it opened up on Monday, and there's your stop loss, it opens up there. Well, I'm sorry, mate, that is your problem. This instead of this, you get the idea. Because on the weekends there's no buyers or sellers. So no one's going to take your order. When you're saying, I'm going to put my stop loss at $1,730, you're saying, hear me, I'm willing to, for going short, I'm willing to exit there. So anyone to buy it off me at that level can. But there's no buyers, well, it's not going to happen for you. My house is worth 10 million rand. Well, in your head it is, until somebody gives you and closes the deal and actually pays over 10 million rand, then it's in your head. You get the idea. So just bear that in mind. Stop loss, liquidity is there normally to get it. But if you have a sudden major fundamental jump, it could go through it. Bear that in mind. Right, NZD, say CHF, long. Funny enough, actually, I think I looked at this morning, Jethro. Hey, Clinton, I think I looked at this morning for a long. A bit nervous, think we'll wait a little bit. But it's in a neutral zone. NZD is reasonably strong at the moment. Yeah, Swiss is not. Remember, it's the most stable currency in the world, fairly stably strong, but it's been a bit iffy lately. I think at the bottom of that range, I mentioned a bit of upside, and the others were a bit unsure. Wasn't exactly over the top confident myself, but I was leaning to the upside of this one. Okay, it came down, tested this, the bottom of the range. How much upside have we got? We're using the range. That's my problem. It's only about a 50 pip range. So you're going to have a fairly tight stop somewhere around there. You could probably squeeze it at a very aggressive trade. There, Jethro. Do you want to do a very aggressive trade, guys? 50 odd pip profit, 30 odd pip stop. Before you say, "Ooh, that's very aggressive," one of our trades lately might have had 100 pip stop, 200 pip TP, but often guys are out after 30, 40 pips anyway, after modifying the stop loss with these up and down markets, to be fair, if you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, maybe we can try an aggressive one. Okay, it's not too bad, actually. Do quite like it. Long, stop loss, put it just down here, slide out of the way. TP, put it up here somewhere. 58.93, probably get a 59, gets that far, we'll see anyway. 58.93. Can't quite squeeze it, so maybe I'll leave the stop there and maybe squeeze it up a little bit. Make it a round figure. If it gets there, probably get the round figure at 59, eh? That's very important, by the way, in trading. It's the round figure. Psychological area of support resistance. A lot of guys put the TPs there. So the TP, remember, you get the pullback on the long because the sell orders and a bounce on the short because of buy orders. Hope everyone understands that. So there you are. 50 bucks a micro, an aggressive, repeat aggressive trade. Adele likes it, okay? Well, I have to say, anybody who goes from Cape Town to Potch in the time you took can definitely not call you a wuss. That is for sure. You know, made me nervous thinking of that speed. But then you're advanced driver, so fair enough. Okay, great. Let's have a go at it then. It's a bit too aggressive to send out my group, but it's the guys in the trading room. A lot of the guys in the group haven't actually attended here, don't understand it was an aggressive and non-aggressive, so I won't be sending it out, but we'll see how it works. 50, 0.58, 50, 0.5823, 0.5900. Hopefully get some result in this today, eh? See how that works out. Well, buy it and sell it there, Sean, and then you can't go wrong, except you pay the broker some money. I'm sure there is. Maybe look at the 1 minute, see what that's got to say. The 1 minute's indecision. There we are. The 4, I did look at the 4 hour. There's a bit more confirmation for it. Looking a bit better, eh? The 4 hour confirmation there. Who thought of this? Well, I mentioned this morning, so I'll take a little bit of the accolade, but who mentioned it? Jethro. Put Jethro there. Don't know how old you are, Jethro, but I always think of Jethro Talbot, Superman Jethro. Great group going back 60s, 70s. Oh, really? Is that right? Okay. Thick as a brick, if you remember that. Ian Anderson on the flute. Strange looking guy, but very talented. Anyway, moving along. Don't want to bore you with that lot. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, so we've got that trade out and the US dollar CAD. We've got that as a ZEF sell. See how that's doing. Doing okay, I think. Yeah, 22. Sort of. It's broken the spread. Give you due on that. So remember, we get on the sell and we exit on the short. We exit on the buy or on the ask, and it's just about to come down. So it's breaking even now. Costs are taken out. So yeah. SL in sellers and SL in buyers. I'm sorry, Anne-Marie, you lost me there. SL is stop loss. Was I talking about, okay, for exit? The stop loss is a sell signal if you're going long or a buy signal if you're going short. Now you're going short here. So if the stop loss is hit, it's a buy order. And that's why they get some movements upwards when people exit their short positions. We sometimes call it a short covering bounce. Comes down and bounces because a lot of TPs were there. Those TPs on the short are buy, not sell, buy orders. You don't sell to exit, you buy to exit. Not necessarily a lot of people buying, it's just a lot of guys exiting or closing their trade or position, and they are buy orders. So if you've got a whole load of TPs there, they'll all be buy orders to exit. We understand that? That's why you heard a short squeeze often mentioned. Short squeeze, and it's been they've gone short, it's going up. They're being squeezed, they can't hold any longer, so they've got to exit. By exiting their buying, that increases the upward motion. Just remember that the institutions out there can see all those TPs and SLs which we put in the market. It's not your computer, it's put into the market. And they can see a whole load of TPs. I'll put the crosshair up here for you. A whole load of TPs there. They often squeeze the guys till they're out. And it's pushed up a bit because they've been squeezed out. Then they come in with a short and you're not on board. Doesn't just say you don't have a short stop loss. Just got to be aware sometimes it is transparent on that basis. Okay. Now, there's a bit to learn. I think one of my Botswana guys said, hey, it's quite a bit to learn here. My answer to that is, if it's a skill that's going to earn money, there's a bit to learn. If it's unskilled, it's usually not very well paid. I'm sorry to say, yep. And it's taking too much of my time up. It's like a millionaire saying, I like my business, it's taking too much time up. I don't know one millionaire didn't put a lot of time, effort, and love into that business. Same sort of principle. This is like a business. If you don't have the love of it, you don't have the equipment for it, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the capital, but a common sense should prevail. Your chances of winning are not the strong side. Remember, it's a zero-sum game. The losers pay the winners. Okay, right. Okay, it's to cover. We've got another 10 minutes. Any clarification? I've just, well, thank you, Clinton, posted on for you. So copy, paste, have it in your browser like I have. I've got two screens and I have it minimized. So you can say, I'd like a short goal, just check the DXY, check the yields first. Or hang on, the CPI is coming out in 10 minutes, the US CPI, maybe I'll just hold fine. Just check before you jump in. That's the only problem I have with pending orders, because the pending order doesn't know that. And the situation could have changed by the time that pending order is triggered. If you do a pending order, just remember, if you've got GTC or good till cancelled, and you're not very much likely of getting that pending order, rather delete it. And say any cost? No, there's no cost. You're not in the market. Remember, the pending order means you're not in the market. You want to buy or sell a better price. Rather delete it, rather forget about it, leave it lying there, and it might be triggered and you've forgotten about it, and it goes the wrong way. Okay. Sorry, beg your pardon. I do beg your pardon. Yeah, I forgot about that. Right. Oil is really iffy now. You trade at WTI quite a lot, and you probably have some input on this. Very iffy at the moment. Bounce up, then it's come off. Now it's indecision. I'm going to leave that alone. If you have anything else to offer on that, we're unmuted. You can say your piece if you like, or you can tap it out. But I don't see a trade on either of them. I think I put that on the snippet. It's broken above the neutral. It wasn't the sell zone before, but I'm not confident enough it's going to get further up. I think it's not going to get much further. I think 98 is going to hold. I don't think it's going to take 100. And if it does, it won't last there long. In fact, it gives selling opportunity gets to 100, in my opinion. If it breaks to the 50, we might get some more downside. Then you're going to get risk reward. That's going to be limited because all we're going to do is close off the taps and to put the price up. If Republicans were in charge, I'd have a different attitude to it because they're just up the Keystone Pipeline, and then we get more oil on the market. But until that occurs, I'm a bit iffy. Remember, you got at least a $4 stop. So look, at least $6. Can you get a risk reward? And Clinton does as well. I know that as well. He trades it a bit. So if he says wait, fair enough. Yeah, well, there you are. Yeah, it might have a bit of advance on technicals with your risk reward. Technically speaking, range zone up there, $3. Where are you going to put your stop? $1.50, you get knocked out. Easily get stopped out in the noise before it goes up again. No. Something else mentioned there. Oh, yeah, the ZAR. Okay. Is that Murray? Yeah. The ZAR, don't forget, if you're going to trade the ZAR, it's called an exotic. Remember the majors is the euro, all against the dollar, the euro, the Japanese, the pound, and the Swissy. They're the majors. The cross is the Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. The rest are called exotics. ZAR is an exotic. More thinly traded, more volatile, more easy maneuverable by big money. Remember, the euro dollar is over $1 trillion a day contract value trading. Nothing like that on the dollar rand or the pound rand, the euro rand. Don't forget that. So it can even be pushed around a lot by big institutional money. And on top of it, as a result of it, it has higher costs. It's in the region of about 12 pips. So you've got to undertake 12 pips as well. People who want to trade the ZAR are people I advise who've done it before, know what they're doing, experienced at it, and been doing it for a while, and fairly specialized in it. That's different. Starting a trading journey, rather leave it alone. Okay, thanks, Ashley. If we capture you this afternoon, great stuff. If we don't, well, obviously you have other stuff to do, but I hope we can catch you again this afternoon. But going back to Murray there, I'm strongly suggesting you leave the rand alone. ZAR, leave it alone. Costs are high, and there's a lot of other intricacies, that's correct English, involved with it. When you're starting, rather play with the majors and the odd cross. That's what I'm saying, 12 pips, they're high. That's normal throughout the industry. The market maker protect themselves, basically. Nothing secret about that. In Google, you can find what I'm talking about. They make the market and they take the opposite side. They create that market by taking the opposite side. They're like the house, if you like. I strongly suggest that, guys. Not just Morris, but you guys. I'd strongly suggest leave the NAS, even if you've got the money for it, as a beginner. Rather find out first by telling you trade them a few times and get to know its idiosyncrasies. 200 pips is diddly squat. It jumped 100, 150 often on opening at 4:30. It used to be 3:30, as we know. So you can't go over 50, 60, 80, 90, 100 pip stops. You'll get knocked out, even if your strategy is correct. And most people can't handle 300-400 rand risks. Remember, 200, 250 pip stop on a micro is 20, 25 US dollars. Current exchange rate talking 350, 400 rand. A micro risk. Clearly, a guy in the 1,000 is risking 35% entire capital on it and can easily get margin call because you've got to get free margin in his account as well. Can't say I've got 1,000 rand, I'll put mine in the market. You've only got 100 rand free margin, got 2, 3, 5 to 1 highly leveraged positions there, bang, bang, margin call. Please don't trade the market if you don't understand what margin is, what leverage is, and the pros and cons of it. And what it means is 5 to 1 or 100 to 1. And if you wonder what the leverage is, ignore the 500 and 100 because that's just an umbrella call of it. None of them are 500 and 100. One is more leveraged than the other. I'll give an example. This is a 5 to 1 leveraged account. So I'll take this one for argument's sake. Right click, go to specifications, look at the margin. And this is a 5 to 1. So I divide 0.03 into 100. That comes to about a 333 to 1 leverage. So my leverage on this one is 333 to 1. On the 100 to 1, it's probably in the region of about, 33, 40 to 1. Some are more than others. Oil slightly less leverage. Bearing that in mind. A leverage is not a thing, I can now trade the small amount of money. It means you've got a small amount of money and you're overexposing, which means you ask for a margin call. Please, guys, with small accounts, if you're not sure that, Google it, work on the maths. You must understand it. Go to a couple of classes. There's too many people trading live with real money, which they can ill afford, and understand even in leverage instruments what even that means. You can't have that. driving a very fast car when you're in the middle of a couple of driving lessons and you didn't even know you're doing 180. There's lots of pros and always cons, always a yin and a yang. Bear that in mind. Okay, Adele, great stuff. I'm so glad to join and fantastic as this afternoon. Okay, right, it's coming up to 11 o'clock. Anyway, hope you've learned a bit. We'll continue our trading journey, should we call it, later on. We'll revisit a couple of trades and see if we've got any more action coming out of the States where we can get some decent trades this afternoon. We can look at US shares, opens up as 4 and see what action we can get out of that one. Hope it's doing good for you. Hope you benefited. Hope your time has been worthwhile. Okay. Good stuff. Okay, thanks, Sean. Oh, by the way, when you WhatsApp me, I hope you put your full names and real account number so I can check you on the screen to make sure of various tax and update my side. Okay, thanks, guys. Cheers, Ed. See you at 4. Great, Temple. Okay, if you're absent, you can't make it, but it'd be nice you could. Okay, guys, see you later.